What's poppin', everybody? So we have finally reached my last planned Code Vein video that sprung from that exclusive Code Vein event that I was invited to. So if you guys are just joining us on this last video, yes, I did go to an event about 3-4 weeks ago. I don't even know at this point. I got to play the game early. Now, at the time of this upload, that network test should be coming out, I believe, tomorrow if this video goes up when planned. So I would like you guys to play that if you got into the beta, and then come back to this video and let me know how you feel, right? Do you see the same connection that I'm talking about? Does it feel like that? I'm curious to know if what I say is the same thing of what you guys think. So all the talk around Code Vein, and when I say all, I literally mean all, has been revolving around the idea that Code Vein is kind of going to be a Soulsborne series type of genre. And I mean, you know, this isn't exactly surprising, right? Because that's how they marketed it. And that's kind of how it got its shine. But when they first announced this game, they said that it was behind the team that made God Eater. So don't you think there should be even a little bit of talk like that? But I don't really see it. And I mean, if you think about it, you know, we did get to see a lot of Code Vein prior. You know, as it got announced, they showed us a lot of gameplay, a lot of information. But it's funny because it wasn't until I myself got to play it, and then so now maybe you guys who get to play the network test will find this out as well. It wasn't until I got to get my hands on it and play it that I kind of saw or felt this slither of connection to God Eater. But at the same time, honestly, bro, I think it's because, you know, the fact that all we were getting, all the talk was revolving around Code Vein Soulsborne games. So maybe that's why it kind of diverted our attention from the fact that it was made by the God Eater devs. Because like I said before, it was initially announced, right? When we got this teaser video with just the artwork, all we knew about this series, the name Code Vein, was that it was a game that was being made by the God Eater team. And that's why I initially got hyped for this series. What about you? And it's like, yet again, while I did know that fact, it sort of slipped my mind. Not entirely, though, okay? I did have the God Eater team knowledge in my head, but like I said, it's kind of like it got devalued. That fact got devalued. I started to think maybe it's only a producer that is behind God Eater that's also behind this game, or maybe it's like only a few devs that just pulled and they're like, oh yeah, let's make this game. I don't know, but this isn't the case, right? It's exactly what they said at the start. The team behind God Eater made Code Vein.
開発チームがゴッドイーターを作っていた開発チームから制作されている IP ではあるんですけれども、そのままシリーズを継続するのではなく、独自の新規 IP として一つ立ち上げようと。
Without further ado, let's break down and talk about some unique key features in this game that have a relation and kind of bring up that whole God Eater idea in your head, right? Let's hit it. So to start things off, the weight of the attacks. It is so funny that I'm about to say this, that we're about to talk about this, but contrary, okay, to what we were kind of focusing on prior to getting any information on Code Vein, we thought that the weight was not enough. And this stems back to the whole Soulsborne talk. We got confused, we got diverted from the actual realization, the reality, you could say, bro. God Eater is the opposite of Monster Hunter in the sense that Monster Hunter is very calculated attacks, you know, every kind of swing matters. God Eater is the exact opposite, bro. It's about fast-paced, crazy action.
ちょっと高めにしようとは思っていましたけども、そういうゴッドイーターが持っていたようなとっつきやすさっていうものはなくさないようにしようっていうのが一つ心の中にありましたね。
So it makes sense that these attacks don't have as much weight. God Eater attacks have literally no weight because it makes it for a more fluent, fast-paced combat. When I played it, I had that feeling, right? It's like Soulsborne in the sense that I can't just swing around like I do on God Eater. It is a bit controlled, but it's fast enough, it's fluent enough that it makes me feel like I could kind of string together light heavies. You have a bit more freedom. It's very smooth, right? And so kind of to iron out and really drive this one point home, in my interview with the producer, I asked a handful of questions, right? And they're always kind of relating God Eater to Code Vein and things like that. And his answer all the time was, we played to our strengths. That is why the weight of the attacks aren't there. I didn't know how to pronounce it. So moving on to another mechanic that is pretty iconic, bro. Like, think about it. A lot of you maybe have thought about this, but bro, like, think about it. drain attacks. Come on. It's literally devouring. Literally devouring. If we dive just a bit deeper, think about the concept of it. Drain attacks, devouring. You devour, you drain to kind of get a buff. And that's exactly what happens with this game. It is a good idea to constantly be draining, but it is dependent on your playstyle. If you're doing it more range-based, or I guess magic-based, you definitely want to always be devour or draining so you can increase your E-core stock, because that's what you use to use your gifts, magic, whatever you want to call it. But I think that's funny. It's like I saw the drain attacks, but it never really clicked till I sat down and tried to think of this video. I'm like, maybe not right now, but before I was like, wait a second, drain, devour, what the hell? And so next up, this is actually pretty big and maybe one you didn't fully think about. So maybe as I present these ideas, it'll light a bulb for you. I don't know. But the partners, right? Soulsborne games, you don't bring partners. You know, if you do, it's kind of something you got to unlock. Bloodborne, you have to find some people, then you could do that type of stuff. Or actually, was that an update in an Old Hunters DLC? I don't know. But all of a sudden, you have this Soulsborne type of game, but all of a sudden, they have partners. But think about it. God Eater. The connection, the story is basically about your team. In every single iteration, right? So it makes a lot of sense that they were like, oh, we want to bring in partners. But that's just the surface of it. Bringing it back to the whole Soulsborne concept, those games are hard, and they don't force story on you. They kind of just throw it in with lore. So I can think of two reasons why they decided to put in partners into Code Vein. One would be that they didn't want this game to be super hard. They are going with a Soulsborne type of genre concept, so it naturally has this difficulty with it. So like, how can we counterbalance that? What do we like to do? Partners. And that leads into the second reason. If you remember, things like character episodes were in God Eater. And again, since we're only going in one little area, a base area, you know, there's not so much to do in terms of fleshing out your story. You got to talk to individuals. You have these character episodes. You can build bonds with those specific characters. I think this was another kind of, so first they were like, oh, we can pull in a partner to make this easier. Oh, partners? We know how to work with that. Add all the stuff they did in with God Eater. If you watched my story gameplay video, you would have seen that people like Oliver, who we fought at the end, they had that blood vestige, I think that's what it's called, and it gave us memories of that character. That is something that I actually read in an article that we're going to be seeing across multiple of the partners that we run into. They're going to have those vestiges or something like that. We're going to be able to see their past and learn more about them. This is a fact of the game that will be happening. And that just kind of drives home that point of, oh, they thought about partners. Oh, let's implement them heavily to the story. We know how to work with that. Following that, in God Eater, whenever you're playing and fighting these monsters, you know, it always is bringing you with 4 other people, or 3 other people, my bad. Unlike Monster Hunter, which really only brings nobody but those cats. And those cats aren't meant to be like actual bodies. They're mostly just kind of be assistants. They want you to mainly do it solo, but the cats are a bit of like just a little bit of help. Whereas God Eater brings you a team of 3, and they're meant to be, one, customized. They're meant to be kept up, like progress with you a bit. So that's what happens in this game as well. You can kind of customize them. Each character kind of does something different. As an example, we see Mia, the one girl with the bayonet. She's a long-range type of character, so her gifts and things that she brings are for more long-range support, long-range attacks. Whereas Io, however you say it, the one white girl with the big old titties, she still focuses on more support type of role, where she can heal you, I think buff you up and things like that. Not only that, they have affinities that will be increasing, and the more you use them and take them out to the field, exactly the same as what you can do in God Eater. So yeah. But to sum it up, you know, the whole idea that the characters and your partners and your team is a very, very crucial part of the story that screams God Eater, that screams character episodes, things like that. You learn more about your team, things like that. So that's one of the whole partner aspect in the team. Bro, look at the cover art for the home base. It shows you all of your team members that you're going to be with. Throughout the story, we're going to be building very strong bonds with them. We're probably going to be finding favorites out of the team members and things like that. Screams God Eater. Last 2 kind of subjects. Next we have the story and the lore. Post-apocalyptic again, you know, the world's changed or something. Now everyone's dead. Now people have reborn as new type of beings. Revenants. Wait a second. There was an apocalypse. All of a sudden these God Eaters or these origami appear. all of a sudden God Eaters are born through using that. Oh wow, it kind of sounds like that. And then if we take it down to the base concept of the story, it's kind of about being oppressed, right? The God Eaters are kind of treated bad. In 3, treated even way worse. But prisoners, essentially, in all the games. Same with these revenants. Somebody takes over, starts controlling these revenants, makes them work and shit. The only difference is that everybody is a revenant. But if you notice, in 3, way more people, just about everybody has an armament, because I think they can't survive without it at all. You need that bias factor in you. So very, very similar to what's going on with the God Eater franchise. And last but not least, there's a few other things that are, I think, the kind of fun stuff that I wanted to throw in there. Something like there's a collab going on between both Code Vein and God Eater. So I don't know if you guys know this, but literally, so a Code Vein, I think if you pre-order Code Vein, you literally will get God Eater weapons and outfits. I think it's Soma's blade and Soma's outfit. I think there's a few more, I'm not sure. And then right now they have teased collaborations to God Eater 3. And if you look at the silhouettes, bro, it's a Code Vein character, and come on, it only makes sense. First off, they're both Bandai Namco things, and then kind of like Code Vein is the team behind God Eater, and then you know what I'm trying to say, bro. God Eater 3, yeah, you get it. So really, that's all I gotta say. Those are just like the immediate, very, very obvious similarities and relation to Code Vein that God Eater has of Code Vein has of God. Those are the most, serious or the biggest similarities I see between Code Vein and God Eater due to Code Vein being made by the people behind God Eater. So other than that, let me know if there's anything you guys see. Maybe you've played the beta now and you felt something. Let me know if there's anything I didn't touch upon that you think is a kind of a similarity to God Eater and showing that they were playing to their strengths. Other than that's all I gotta say. Be sure to leave a like on this video, share it out. We gotta let people know, bro, what to expect. Soulsborne, yes, but more God Eater, So yeah, that's all I gotta say. So I'll see you all in the next video. Peace. Lamp with the tape, I'm a legend in the room. JAMSQUAD chillin', now my homies bringing boom. Don't try to play the game without asking about the rules. I keep my cards safe, nigga, what you do? Pop it off easy, I'm not trying to snap your neck.